Hello, all, and welcome to the Power to the Pinky podcast with Taylor Marbury. This is episode 19, and I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about my favorite thing ever, which is minor keys, and in fact, A minor. All right, so this is the world of A minor as we know it and as we love it. So why all of a sudden, we've talked about the C caged stuff, right? Why all of a sudden are we jumping directly to A minor? I'm glad you asked, all right? So the C major, right, has a relative minor, okay? I say they're besties for the resties. They're related. So the key of C and the key of A minor are basically the same, but you're like, wait. But one's major and one's minor. What do they have anything to do with each other? This is where the circle of fifths kind of comes in handy, all right? So here's what happens. A relative minor is the same notes with a different tonal center. So if I play a C major scale, remember that's all natural notes. I'm going to go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, all natural notes from C to C. And then I do that same exact notes, but now I'm going to play from A to A. So I'm going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. There we go. See, then I get my A, my natural minor, which we'll talk about next episode. But that puts us in the key of A minor. So what does that really mean for us? Well, it gets even weirder if you see a key signature on a piece of music and there has no sharps and no flats. Technically speaking, yeah, you could be in the key of C major, but you could also be in the key of A minor. Whoa. Mind blown. Am I right or am I right? Okay, so we're going to dive in a little bit more to this. So remember that a C major scale and any major scale follows the whole, half. What am I saying? Willie was here when Willie was here, okay? So it's literally whole, half, whole, half, or Willie was here when Willie was here. For a minor scale, specifically a natural minor scale, we're going to go, it's so silly, it's Willie here when Willie. Or whole, half, whole, half, whole. All right. And all natural minor scales follow that same pattern. Okay. So you can kind of walk through it just like that, just like with your C major scale. Now, what I tell folks when I'm teaching them is just know your major scales and immediately you'll get your minors. Now, there are 3 types of minor scales. We will do more episodes on that. So if you're like, whoa, why are there 3? Great question, right? Such a great question. But I love all the minor scales are very fun to play and they sound awesome. So we will dive into that. All right. So remember a few episodes ago, we talked about the chords in the key of C. Remember the diatonic chords? It always reminds me of Diagon Alley from Harry Potter. Every time I say diatonic, I don't know if anybody else relates to that or feels the same way, but that's where my brain goes. So diatonic chords in the key of C. Those are chords that we know for sure, no matter what, those are going to sound good in the key of C. And it's a great thing if you're trying to do songwriting, right? So if you're like, okay, I want to get into writing songs, where do I begin? We can start with diatonic chords. Now, remember, I'm teaching you guys the rules, but we also want to break the rules. There's nothing wrong with breaking the rules. In fact, I love breaking the rules. And something you may hear is along the lines of like a C major to an E major to F. And then we may go G and maybe like even a G minor. I don't even know. You can do whatever you want chordally, honestly, right? We know that. But something fun to think about on there, okay? So here's what I want you guys to do. So we're going to walk through the chords in the key of C, all right? And then we're going to explain how basically we're going to have the chords in the key of A minor as well. So in the key of C chords, diatonic, C major to a D minor chord, to E minor, F, G, A minor, and then B diminished, and back to C. So the 1, the 4, the 5, always major. The 2, the 3, and the 6, always minor. The 7 is diminished. That's where I got that B diminished chord, okay? And a really good way to practice doing this, if you have a piano or a keyboard nearby, is remember, play little groups of triads on the white keys. So C, E, and G, you'll start there, and you just move that shape up, and you can literally hear this as we go through it, all right? Now, check it out. The A minor chords are in the same chords. We're just going to mix up the order. So then 1 is now A, okay, A minor in this case, okay? So now the 1 is always minor. The 2 is B diminished, so the 2 is always diminished. Kind of cool, right? Then we get a major. The 3 is major. C major in this instance. Then the 4 is minor. Okay, then we've got our D minor chord. We've got our E minor chord. There's your 5. Okay, our 6 is F major. Our 7 is G major. So again, if that's too weird to think about, just remember that you're still using the same chords from the key of C. We just kind of put them in a different order starting at A, all right? So we're still always thinking key of C. My brain does, at least. I always think, okay, I'm in A minor, I'm basically in C, and then you just adjust accordingly, to walk through those different chord progressions. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about with this is some famous songs in the key of A minor. Okay, there are tons. I actually have my list over here. Okay, I've got Rhiannon. Okay, Fleetwood Mac. Let me put my pick down so we can... Okay, Maria Maria by Santana. Samba Party. I don't actually remember how to play that time. Boom. Something like that. Okay, so we're, again, A minor. House of the Rising Sun. Come on, peeps. Hairway to Stephen. And we all know this one. This is not even... Okay, Classical Gas, Mason Williams. Whoa, who knows this song? Okay, Hurt, Johnny Cash. A minor, C, D, A minor. Okay, Ain't No Sunshine, Bill Withers, A minor. E, G, A minor. Don't Fear the Reaper. Okay, Blue Oyster Cult. What is it? There we go. Losing My Religion, was it? I'm doing this off the top of my head, peeps. Let's see. So that goes to that F major 7 and A minor. I believe that's the chord progression. Oh, Flowers by Miley Cyrus. Okay, so that one's kind of cool. That one also reminds me of I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor, right? Like, I can buy myself flowers. A minor, D minor, C. I can hold my head in the C. And that's like a G over B kind of thing. So again, that one. I Can't Feel My Face When I'm With You. The Weeknd. I can't feel my face when I'm with you. There's probably more chords. That's all. But I love it. I'm just guessing here. It's something like along those lines. Okay. Forever Young by Alphaville. What is it? But it goes to C. Forever young. I want to be forever young. I would argue that one's actually just in C. Again, same dealio, but I don't think A minor is its tonal center. Smooth Operator. Okay, that's a great song. I actually don't know that one off the top of my head, but great song. And there are so many more. In fact, A minor is probably the most common key I find myself playing in. I don't know, just about I'm an alto, and just for some reason, like Mary Jane's Last Dance, do a lot of that. Danny California, Red Hot Chili Peppers. D minor, A minor. And then we have, for example, Little Black Submarines by the Black Keys. That one's kind of cool because it is a lot of like A major to A minor type dealio on there. So what's the best way to practice this? We will dive into the actual scales. Again, the 3 types of minor scales. You've got your natural minor, your melodic minor, and your harmonic minor. If you're like, whoa, she's saying a bunch of words I don't know yet, don't worry. They will all make sense very soon. But if I were you guys, I would just start playing C major, like even in first position, how I was noodling through C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? And then start noodling through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and really just getting a feel for it. And when you look at a song now, if you think it's in C, make sure, is it in C? Is it in A minor? Kind of adjust through that. And we'll talk about how we can incorporate these. You can also practice, again, all of those chords and the diatonic chords in C major and A minor, because that's just super helpful to know, especially if you're playing with other musicians who may just be calling out the national number system, like, 251 or whatever it may be. All right, you guys. Well, this concludes episode 19, The World of A Minor. We will dive into our natural minor scale up next for episode 20. Thank you guys so much. Power to the pinky, and can't wait for next episode. Rock on.